playing defensive. Schmeichel's not coming up for this one. Thinks he's done enough. Is this their moment? It's a Sheringham. And Solskjaer has won it. Manchester United have reached the promised land. Oli Solskjaer. 2 substitutes. Let's score the 2 goals in stoppage time.
4,
And the treble. 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to the United Community Podcast, and we are back with episode number 8 of the podcast, and plenty to discuss today. Since we've last been on, Manchester United have had 3 games, 2 wins and 1 defeat. Obviously that defeat coming against Aston Villa a couple of days ago, but plenty to discuss tonight. We're going to be talking about Ten Hag and is he doing a good job. We're going to talk about Bruno Fernandes and how much he was missed on the weekend by Manchester United. We're also going to talk about the squad depth and the areas that maybe Manchester United need to buy going into the January transfer window. And of course, probably the biggest aspect over the last few weeks is Manchester United not scoring enough goals. Chances are being created, but we're not converting them into goals. So we're going to talk about that as well. We're also going to have reaction to the Champions League and Europa League draw. If you haven't heard, where have you been? Manchester United have got Barcelona in the last 32. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the Premier League in general. Arsenal stay atop. Can they last the pace? And we're also going to talk about Liverpool and whether they have actually turned a corner or not. But again, obviously, we have the usual suspect back again. He's having camera difficulties, so he can't get him up today. But Ricey is back. Good to see you, pal. How are you getting on?
Well, Jack, how are you?
Good, man. Good, man. And it's good to see everyone in as well, guys. Anyone who's watching, feel free to get your thoughts and comments into the chat as well. It's going to be an interactive podcast here, so feel free to get your thoughts and comments in. But let's get straight into it with Manchester United. Obviously, since we've been last on, they've played 3 games. 1-0 win against West Ham, 1-0 win against Real Sociedad. Midweek, obviously, didn't get top spot in the group, needed 2 goals, only got 1. And then, of course, Aston Villa on the weekend, 3-1, very disappointing result. But we're going to talk more so about Ten Hag and maybe the job that he's doing. And obviously, me personally, I do think he's doing a very good job at United, and improved as an awful lot. But obviously, Ricey, yourself being, I suppose, an outsider, not a United fan, what kind of, I suppose, how is it looking to maybe non-United fans in relation to the job that Ten Hag is doing?
Look, overall, Ten Hag has seemed to come in and steady the ship. There's been a lot of positives. There's been a lot more positives than there has negatives, as say. He's obviously... Injuries of late and all has been a killer to him because United have a very, very strong outfit. Say they have a very good 11, maybe a very good 10 because they technically don't have a number 9. They do have a 9, but they don't have a very good 9. Like, if United played, they'd nearly go toe-to-toe with anybody with a 1 to 11 if they had their strongest team out on field. Give or take a few people here or there. But I think overall he's doing a decent job. United fans are happy with him. It's not a case of, and you can see as these matches go here, as if you look kind of back on the United matches, like United looked very good against Liverpool. They beat Arsenal. They absolutely crumbled against City. They dominate Spurs, then collapsed to Villa. Like, it's not as if it's a graph going a positive curve. It's going up and down and up and down. But one thing is, it's definitely not a negative curve.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like,
and it's something that I did say, even after the likes of the great results against Liverpool and Arsenal and things like that, where it is quite easy to get carried away and get excited and things like that. But I was kind of conscious about saying, look, it's going to be up and down with this manager and this squad more than that. You know what I mean? Because
it is. Look, it'd be different if it was a year on from now and this was going on. You're in 5th. You're a couple of points off Spurs there. There would be a few points that would be, there would be a few kind of things that would worry me slightly. Just United are 5th in the table. I have a few things jotted down here. They're fifth. They're -1 goal difference. 18 goals scored, 19 conceded in 13 games, which teams can be low scoring. But you look at some of the teams like Brighton have 22 goals, Fulham scored 23, Brentford 21, Leeds have even 19, Leicester, who are supposed to have fallen asunder, have 23 goals. That's 5 goals more scored more than Manchester United have scored. I know your league position, you're ahead of all them teams, but that can say something in itself.
Yeah, I
You
know
know,
what you mean. And I think United are in the kind of way when they do concede goals, they concede a lot. Like you see on the weekend, we conceded 3 against Villa. We conceded 4 against Brighton, wasn't it? And, you know, like you take them 2 away. I know, look, it's all in hindsight, whatever. But um, I think the issue is more so not scoring goals.
yeah, oh yeah, and I 100% agree. And I think Manchester United know that themselves, and the fans know that themselves. So it's an easy observation for me to pick or to pick on from an offset. But I just think overall, Ten Hag has settled in. Look, it hasn't been smooth sailing, but I don't think anybody thought it was going to be smooth sailing. I don't know what way United fans would have figured if you'd say coming into this international break or coming into this World Cup break, would you take fifth? You need a win this weekend if you want to secure fifth against Fulham. Like, if Fulham actually beat you this coming weekend, Fulham are a point off you. You could be sitting, you could be lingering around seventh. They could be a
Yeah,
point off you. And I don't think then, I know it's only one game, but I do think it's a big game against Fulham. You have to put
yeah,
this Villa game to bed. If you lose this game going in here to into Fulham, and you finish off 2 that way, you'll have started your season with 2 bad losses and finished the midpoint of your season with 2 bad losses. Yeah, everything in the middle will be all kind of. You went on a very good run there, but
yeah.
it just won't be a bad. Like, it'll be a bad finish to the kind of first half of the season.
Yeah, and look, and I think it's very easy for fans to look at the negatives all the time, and it's you know I'd be the same after the loss against Villa. It's, oh man, here we go now, you know. But when you look at it, I think it's one defeat in what did the last time we obviously I think obviously the last one was City, but we haven't lost since City. And before that, I think
Sociedad.
it was Sociedad at the first game of the Europa League. So, you know, these little losses are going to be dotted in throughout the season. And we have seen when we
Ah, they are.
have, you
And it's
know,
that syndrome there, like, say, Villa just got in a new manager. They're playing for the new manager. There's hype back around. Like, it's a terrible time to play a club like that. I know it's no excuse to be accepting losing to him, but you have to remember this Manchester United isn't the Manchester United of old. It's a team that is in transition. In transition. You don't have 2 recognised fit centre backs at the minute, as in lads are recognised as centre backs, but they're not recognised as your first choice centre backs. Like Lindelof, he's someone we can talk about. Starting to think now, no, he definitely doesn't have a future at United from the outset. That first goal that went in there the other day, you'd know from even playing junior football, to an extent, yeah, you follow your man out to midfield. He was out nearly on the halfway line at the touch line, like slapping, or not even Tony, sorry, slapping Ollie Watkins in the back, you know, trying to keep touch tight. Ollie
yeah,
Watkins brushed him off,
yeah,
cruised into the middle of the field and played in a couple of balls. Bang, bang. You see how open they were, how, like, God, they were split open there so
yeah,
easily for that
yeah,
first goal. And people might say, oh, Martinez could have done more. I don't think there was a whole lot. Like, his centre back partner was out of the midfield.
yeah,
He was
yeah. I know.
further up the pitch than Casemiro. And I know that can happen if you follow a lad, but you have to know when to pass your CDM onto him.
Yeah, and I think that was the difference between, say, that game on Sunday against Villa and say the West Ham game the previous week when Harry Maguire started beside him. Now, me personally, I would prefer Lindelof to Harry Maguire, but Martinez didn't have the greatest game in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
look,
I
it
think
happens.
if you look at, say, the West Ham game, in the first 5 minutes, something very similar happened to Harry Maguire. He got sucked out into midfield, followed his man right up onto the halfway
Yeah,
line.
but that
But Martinez was sharp that day to cover the fucking
it's
space,
it's it's a
you know,
common, I think it's a very common trait of Harry Maguire. He gets sucked out very easily like
very
that.
easily. Yeah,
Like, but That's not something new with him. Harry Maguire's 29, I think. That's not something you're going to really change with him. Look,
Yeah.
Harry Maguire, I don't think has a massive future with United anyway, but I certainly don't think Lindelof either.
Well,
We'll
let
get
me
on
put
to
it
it.
to you this way: which one would you prefer to start? Which one would you, if you were a United supporter, who would you prefer to have in your team?
I would have said Lindelof up until I'm seeing too many discrepancies with him late. They're just not top four defenders. Like
Yeah.
defenders, if you're wanting to be in that top four, they're not. Do you think Lindelof would start in any of the other teams in the top four?
Yeah, I mean it's a good point. He would probably get into, I don't know, would he get into a Spurs team maybe, but probably a stretch at that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But I do
United are never
understand.
going to be really in theory wanting to compare themselves to Spurs, though. Spurs
Yeah,
aren't really a top four team. Like, yeah, they might break in now and again, but like if you take Harry Kane out of that Spurs team, Spurs are a bang average team.
yeah, and you can see it. I suppose since Son got the injury, you know, like with Liverpool last night, that was it. Kanate literally followed Harry Kane around the whole pitch. You take him out of the game, there's no one else. Like Son is not there. Kulusevski was on the bench, all of that kind of stuff. But let's move on from the midfield then anyway. And me personally now, and I wanted to bring up this point, obviously, he was suspended on Sunday, and people may love him or may hate him, but Bruno Fernandes, obviously, when he first came to Manchester United, started, you know, his first 12, 18 months were unbelievable. You know, the last maybe 12 or so months after that, hot and cold, went through a bad spell, like a lot of other players did last season, absolutely. But I thought we missed him massively on Sunday, and for a couple of different reasons. One, I think it kind of threw off the balance of the midfield when we were so used to the Casemiro, Ericsson, Bruno, three in midfield, and also for his work rate. I think his work rate the last this season, you know, all throughout the season, even if he might have been playing well, you know, the ground he's covering is unbelievable. And I'd like to
Yeah,
get your thoughts on that as well.
I agree with that. There's one thing I always say is like it goes back to what's that saying? I don't know if I get it right. Is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I know that
Yeah,
can go all the way back to schoolboys football, but it is a simple saying that I'm not saying he's not talented, but I'm saying if there's any player out on a pitch, and even if they're having an off day, if they even just give 110% and
yeah,
they're showing themselves out there, like they're putting themselves about, like literally as anybody would ever describe, whenever Ireland play good or a player plays good for Ireland, this is the kind of Ireland always kind of get put a standard below the bigger teams. They always say he put in a shift. Do you know, like
yeah,
the likes of James McLean and all, do you know,
yeah,
did McLean do well last night? Oh, geez, you couldn't fault him. He put in a shift. Do you know, does that mean he played well or what? It's like he ran his,
yeah.
you know, it means he ran his socks off.
Yeah,
And
well, at least in the eyes of the fans, then
yeah,
they
but that's what I
can't.
mean. But
Yeah,
even when Bruno does bad, he sulks sometimes. He throws his hands up, but he still chases down balls like a little dog, like a terrier, you know, just
yeah,
kind of running around. And I think they did miss that. But if you, it may be hard to believe because United's position, this is in all competitions now, not only in the league, but Bruno Fernandes has created the most chances out of any player in the Premier League in all competitions. Now, he's obviously, after playing a few Europa League games, so he'll have played more games than the likes
yeah.
of James Maddison or someone like this. But
Of
the next
course, yeah,
closest to him is Salah with on 35 chances created. He has 39 chances created. But it shows his importance to that team.
yeah,
Like, as well, when you will just side away from him for a minute. Anthony, he was a loss. Like his flair, his go out on that right wing. I was talking to a Manchester United fan of mine, or a Manchester United friend of mine, and he was saying that he can't, and I was reading this, that he can't understand how, in God's name, that Ten Hag put Rashford out on the right. That he said it has never worked before. Rashford has never played well on the right. And I read them comments online earlier on as well, saying that people were very disappointed that Ten
yeah,
Hag went about it that way, putting Rashford out on the right. It
yeah.
was completely, I know it was completely to fit Garnacho into the side.
Yeah, I think the fact that Garnacho is the younger of the
Yeah,
two,
but
while
like
Rashford with the more experience.
you're changing two positions for one.
Yeah, I know
You
what you
know,
mean.
it's
Absolutely. But he
like
is a big loss. Like like you were saying there, the flair he's after bringing and the energy he's bringing. But he's after bringing goals as well. You know
he
what I
is,
mean?
he is,
He's
he
after
is.
getting a few goals this season. And that right-hand side is an area that, you know, United have been very weak in. Well, I won't say very weak. Obviously, we had Mason Greenwood slotted into it, and we all know what happened there, so we won't go into that. But in terms of on the field, I mean, that was basically his place to lose for the next 10 years, you know. And so Anthony coming in and settling into that position so quickly was was so nice to see, because right, all right, lovely. That right side is now just sorted, you know. But I know what you mean, and it's and we're going to get onto it now in a second, but and it's a nice segue into it. When you're missing Bruno, Anthony, and Varane, that's three players, right? Now they're all in three obviously different positions, but in three different areas of the field. It goes to show the lack of depth that Manchester United actually have in their squad, you know, and how paper thin it actually is. And look, I'm not going to get carried away, you know, because I know, like, Ralph Rangnick was right when he said it last season. You need 10 players, you know, and people laughed at him and said, gee, what's this lad on about? But he was right in hindsight. He was. Now, what did we bring in? 6 over the summer, and we're still short in terms of squad depth, and a couple of injuries were in big bother. But
Yeah, well,
going
it's the squad
forward,
depth as in quality. You have the numbers, but they're just
oh
not
yeah,
good enough. Like if you look up there,
exactly.
like look, Donny van de Beek has to. That's his last life used up. You know, January.
Yeah.
See you later. Is he in? I don't know. Would he still be knocking around the Netherlands squad?
I'm not
I don't know.
100% sure, to be honest. I would be very surprised if he's in it. Now, maybe he is. I don't
Jeez,
know.
he was a lad I would have liked to see succeed as well because he was very good. He was a very great player to watch when he was with Ajax. I don't know what happened to him at all. He was
Yeah.
just
Well,
like
like, and like I was saying it as well on the watch along the other day. I was saying, you know, how many more chances do you need? Like, and you're right in what you were saying. He came in. Now, was he a Solskjaer signing at the time? He kind of had to, it kind of stunk up the room a little bit in relation to, I don't think Solskjaer actually wanted him. I think United, the board, went out and signed him because everyone was tapping up that Ajax squad at the
yeah,
time.
and you got him for, I won't say a steal, but like you got him for 40
Yeah,
million, which
yeah,
is like not massive money, especially not to United.
yeah,
And I would have thought, even though you didn't get him, I'd be like, yeah, I'd take him. Even though
yeah,
you didn't massively need him, I would have been like, yeah, sure, look, we'll take him. It's not massive money, not going to smash the bank.
yeah.
But you
I'll
can't
read a
like,
couple of comments here. Alex says Donny van de Beek is terrible. Bruno would have helped us a lot more in the game. And Paul says Bruno was missed, but that's a problem with squad depth and quality. We can't be so reliant on single players in the team. And that hits the nail on the head there, what Paul said. Like you take, like I was saying there, you take Varane, Fernandez, and Anthony out of that team, and all of a sudden United are looking very thin, very thin. I want to ask you though, do you think, you know, obviously this is an unprecedented season with the World Cup being smack bang in the middle, and we don't know how each team and each squad is going to be affected by this World Cup. But given that, if United are to, you know, to make a run in the Europa League or the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup or whatever it is, it's going to be a very, very heavy season.
well,
Do you think do you think United
three
have the
games.
depth in their squad
No, no,
to
no,
hit,
no.
even to try for top four?
Yeah, look, it depends, Jack. We can talk about this again on a pod in January. You have to see who comes back from
Yeah,
the World Cup. You have four, you have three, two, even one, two players. You have Casemiro there gets injured in the World Cup, and like you have three. Is it three in the Brazilian squad alone?
yeah, Anthony, Fred, and Casemiro.
Yeah, all named in the Brazilian squad there today. Like
Yeah.
they're going to go far in the competition. They're hoping to go far. Who'll you have? Harry Maguire will be there. He'll be with England.
Yeah, Harry Maguire there, Martinez will be there, Delo will be there, Bruno will be there,
Ronaldo will be there. God only
Ronaldo,
knows if he'll be back in January
Rashford
anyway.
will probably be there as well. Anthony is going. Garnacho, I think, is probably going to go as well with
Is
Argentina.
he?
He was in a squad only last month, I think.
Hardly.
Well, he was now maybe they were doing it. I think were they doing it to tie him down to
I don't know.
Argentina?
Hardly. What age? 18?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So
I don't know.
he
I don't know.
was in a squad in the last since the season started. I think the first round of or maybe was it at the start of the summer he was in the squad. Regardless, anyway, he's been in an Argentinian squad already, but I think it maybe would have been just friendlies to actually tie him down to Argentina, you know. But you're
Yeah,
right
yeah.
in what you're saying. There is going to be an awful lot of players that are going. But then if you look on the flip side of that, Jadon Sancho, if he can get his act together, he's not going to the World Cup.
Yeah, I don't
Anthony
know
Martial, if he can stay fit, he's not going to the World Cup.
Look,
You
and
know,
Anthony Martial, if he stays fit, he could do a job for you in that 9, even get you through to the end of the season. Like, there was goals in him when he was fit, he was doing well, but like, he can't stay fit. To be honest, I don't know what the story was with Sancho. Like, I don't even think. I think since he's come to United, he's barely shown glimpses of what he did in the.
yeah.
Like, as much as you might try, like, people like him. He's a likable fella. He's cool. You know, he's like this lad that you want to succeed. You want everyone to succeed, but people seeing how he ripped it up in the Bundesliga, so they know the potential's there. I don't even think he's shown slight glimpses of it. Maybe
No, he
a
hasn't
very odd
on
game
on
here
a
and there.
consistent basis. That's the
Nah.
problem, you
So
know.
what good is him coming in against Bournemouth here and skin a fella and crossing the ball and you great assist, but doesn't do anything else. And I'm
And
not
he's
saying
after
he did that
scoring a
against
couple of
Bournemouth.
goals, and that's the thing, you know. Like he scored against Leicester, he scored against Liverpool. I think he has 2 assists as well. But it's just putting a run of consistent games together, you know, and like especially with the likes of Anthony coming in there and Rashford having a resurgence on the left hand side. It just to me it just doesn't look like Sancho is up for the fight, really, you know.
Yeah, and
And
look, it's
like when
good.
you're looking at a World Cup year, you know, you'd be expecting lads to be absolutely killing each other, you know, to get this one of the starting 11 jerseys, you know, to try and make that squad of whatever country you're playing for,
Yeah,
you know. And when it comes to Martial, I mean, Martial, I love Martial, but my God, you can't go along and play that well in pre-season and look so sharp and so good and just tease the life out of us. And then he's played 60, 70 minutes all season. You know, you just can't do that to us. You know what I mean? It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
I know.
What
And
areas do you think United need to improve in terms of squad depth? If you were looking at it from an outsider, um, you know, do we need to improve? Yeah, or do we?
like,
Where do we need to bulk up the squad?
well, I don't even think you only need to improve. I think you need to get a starting number 9, not like a backup, not a squad depth. You need a goal scorer, 20 goals a season, like more than 20. You need yourself, like, I'm not saying a Haaland because you're not going to come across a Haaland, but like
Yeah. So,
Liverpool have,
for
like,
example, Alex in the chat there says, he says Gakpo is a necessity in January. Young player from the Eredivisie can play number 9 and on the wing. More goal contributions than Haaland, and he's doing it in Europa too. Depth only
yeah,
40 million is a steal.
yeah, like this might be only a steal. He's coming from the Eredivisie again. I don't know a whole lot about this Gakpo. I hear a good bit about him. I see he has new cards and all in FIFA, which means that he's currently playing well in real life if they're giving
Yeah.
him
Well, he has
informs.
nine goals and 12 assists in 23 games or 24 games or
Yeah,
something
but I
like that.
wouldn't always believe everything, not believe. I wouldn't always buy into the Eredivisie. There was a lad there that came
Of
before
course.
Adrian Mutu signed for Chelsea back in 2004, and he
Yeah.
had 65 goals in 52 games or something up in that league, and he came to the Premier League, and I won't say he was useless, but he just didn't break into it at all. I know then you have the likes of Suarez, who came with a similar record and was unbelievable. But
Yeah.
there was just other lads. Liverpool signed a lad there, Varnen or someone like that. I think he came from that
Yeah, that's
league,
right.
and he had bags of goals. He had 50 goals in 45 games. I would just, it's a very difficult league to like.
To judge players coming into the Premier
Yeah,
League.
yeah. Like, look, the German league seems to be getting kind of similar. Like, I just think the Premier League is such a tough league. It's definitely the best. Look, this is a matter of opinion, but like, it's definitely the best league in the world. I'm not saying it has the biggest. It has some of the biggest teams in the world. I'm not saying they're necessarily number 1 and 2 biggest teams in the world, but if you went like, on the actual the quality of the top 15 teams is better than the quality, I think, of the top 15 in any other league in the world. You get
Yeah.
into the bottom 5, you're talking, there could be anything. They could range in any kind of
Level.
level, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
sorry, I kind of got off wondering there. What was the topic we were talking on? Was the player Gakpo or
yeah,
whatever his name is. I don't even like the sound of the way he says he can play on the wing either. You want an out and out nine. A
yeah,
lad like straight up through the middle, not a lad that, oh, if he doesn't do it in 3 games, we'll fuck him out onto the wing. Do you know? You
yeah,
want a lad there like a Torres, like an Aubameyang in his day,
yeah. A Van
like
Nistelrooy.
even a Van Nistelrooy,
Yeah.
someone that's there just to get goals, just for goals. Like ideally a Suarez, like, but how often do these come around?
That's the thing. Are you going to get a lad? And whatever about trying to get one of them in the summer, trying to get one of them in January is
I
very
know,
difficult.
but I know. I'm just saying though, that's where I think you mainly need. Next place I'd be going for is a centre back that will start, a centre back for 50 or 60 million that
That
will
will challenge Varane and Martinez.
and can start on any given day. Not only a lad that's there for backup for them, a
Yeah.
lad that you have 3 world-class centre backs that, like, Varane is a sick note. As much as I hate to say it, like he hasn't played more than he's played this season.
Yeah, well, there's talks now that his injury isn't as bad as expected
I
and that
know,
he's
but
actually
like
going to go to the World Cup, which,
I know,
as a United fan, I was hoping. I
I
was
know, but
hoping.
his last injury, like he came back from that, and 6 weeks later he was injured again. So he can come
Yeah.
back from this. It mightn't be as bad as they think. It doesn't need to be a cruciate rat, and all it needs to be is a little hammy strain or something. And he's
And
gone
he's
for
missing for 2 or 3 games
3 or 4 weeks.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then that's breaking up the whole rhythm of it. And you're constantly bringing back in, you're going back to Maguire or you're going back to Lindelof, and you have no real choice there but to go back to either of them. But if
Yeah.
you brought in another world class centre half, like if you look at Chelsea, for instance, Chelsea have probably 4 centre halves that they could start nearly any one of them on any given day.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're all world class, but they're all better than Maguire or they're all better than Lindelof.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be hard to be better than Maguire now. I
No,
won't.
and
You know what I
I'm
mean?
only kind of giving Chelsea because they actually have a good few centre backs. But like then if you look at Man City, they have some lads there, like I know you don't really get to judge them a whole lot because like they step in and they just do their job, don't they? City just kind of outscore anyone
Yeah,
anyway.
and City rotates so much anyway that it's hard to, you have a Diaz there that's probably going to start every game, but outside of that, I mean, Ake is in, John Stones is in, sometimes Kyle Walker nearly plays centre backs as well and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But I think for United, I think the priority should be obviously in January and then on into the summer. At number 9, I agree with you, is number one priority is a centre forward, has to be. I think I agree with you in terms of a centre back as well. I think we need another centre
Right
midfielder.
back.
Yeah, I think a right back is.
Cover doesn't necessarily mean to be a starting right full, but good quality cover right full that can come in because all it takes is an injury to Dallo, who's doing very well,
Yeah, he
but it
is.
just takes an injury to him
Yeah.
to realise that you're back in with Spider there, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, like.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, and that's it. So right back, centre midfielder, and centre forward. And I
But what
think
kind of centre midfielder? You're looking for Frankie again, like.
yeah, well, I think like a Frankie can play. Frankie can play nearly as a 6, 8, and 10. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, he's better at certain aspects than others. I wouldn't be surprised if United go back in for him again. But again, it goes back to what we're saying. If Casemiro is injured, or Ericsson is injured, or Bruno is injured, we're back to Max Sauce and we're back to Donny van de Beek. You know what I mean? And that's not what you really want. You want, like you were saying, if you're playing a 3 in midfield, you probably want 5 lads that are busting their arse to get in ahead of the next one. You know what I mean? Quality players, you know. But anyway, look, let's move it on. Obviously, the big talk today was the Champions League draw and the Europa League draw. Obviously, being a United podcast, we're going to talk about the big news and United drawing Barcelona in the last 32. Basically, is what it is. For anyone who hasn't seen, I'll put it up on the screen here now. The Europa League fixture list there for the last 32. Obviously, Barcelona and United is a standout one.
So
Barcelona are
that's
current.
copyright, is it?
That's Sky Sports News, man.
Are
But
you allowed? You allowed use this? You giving them royalties?
I have to start earning some royalties myself before I pay them out. But look, I mean, Barcelona and Juventus and probably Ajax were the three main teams that you would have wanted to
Juventus.
invite.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Sorry. Did you mention Juventus? Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Juventus, Barca, and Ajax. But look, I mean, a
Well,
lot of people.
United on current form probably would have wanted to avoid that Union Berlin, Leverkusen, Monaco, Sevilla, maybe
Easy now,
PSV.
easy now, easy now. Fucking hell, man.
Keep her hoping for that team, Midtjylland or Nantes.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. That's what I say. And look, I mean, if look, I mean, if you're going to want to like at the start of the season, a lot of talk was around the Europa League being a priority and probably a decent chance for United to make a go at winning a trophy. Now, obviously, no one really expected the, I suppose, the teams to drop out the Champions League that did. I mean, what kind of chance do you give Manchester United going into this last 32 against Barcelona?
I don't know. I personally think that United fans don't give themselves much chance. I think they're writing off the Europa League already. Barcelona come with a big name. I'd seen that lad. What's his name? The United stand. He's very upset with the draw.
Mark Goldbridge.
Yeah, very upset with the draw.
Is he? Yeah.
But he was laying claim that it's a fix.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of talk about that on the. I mean, I don't see how you could do that really. Like,
but look, it's a massive draw for both clubs. It's like if they're the biggest two clubs that could have been paired together there. Like, yeah, Juventus probably the next biggest, but like realistically, United and Barcelona are the biggest two names that were in that hat, and they got pulled out against each other. You're going to have a sold out Old Trafford. Hopefully, it'll be a good second game.
I'm going to be at it.
Yeah, it'll be a massive. Like, it's a big one. The only like
it's very big. It's very.
It just
big.
shows that. Like, when you look back, I know you're talking about Ten Hag earlier on. I don't mean to come back onto him, like, how well is he doing and all, but like, one of the big errors he had has led to this draw. Like, Manchester United should be avoiding this round. You should have topped that group. You know, you should have topped that group. You should have bet Sociedad last week by more than one goal.
Well,
after 60 minutes, he went gung-ho. He kind of shoved Maguire up top, started playing long ball up to Ronaldo, Maguire, and you were absolutely battering Sociedad up until that point. And then Sociedad kind of took over the game. Not as if Sociedad looked like they were going to score. They just controlled the great game from then on. Paul Scholes was even giving out about it there. I was reading an article on it earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Paul Scholes was comparing you to a League Two team. Said it looked like Ten Hag didn't have a clue. Second half looked a bit messy. There was no plan. The plan was to launch it forward and look for second balls. It was a little bit League One, League Two-ish for me. Maybe even a little bit disrespectful.
Yeah, well, look, I can understand what Ten Hag was doing. Like, in a way.
With 10 minutes to go, maybe.
I know, but let me put it this way to you, right? As a United fan, and this is now, I'm trying to take a silver lining off of everything, all right? But if you would have rewinded the clock 12 months, 18 months, and it was Solskjaer on the touchline, there's no plan B. At least Ten Hag has some fucking ideas. At least he's trying something different,
well, that's a plan B that I could pick.
I know, but right, see, if you're looking at the game, right, our midfield weren't getting on the ball. We weren't passing out into midfield. Real Sociedad were shutting us down. Couldn't progress the ball on the floor through the midfield like Ten Hag likes to play. So we were going long ball. Now, if you're looking for a goal and you can't get the ball through your midfield and you're going long anyway, then why not stick a big mallet head up front to try and knot it down for someone, So I can understand it's not the prettiest in the world, but if Harry Maguire
I'd win ugly by all means.
Yeah, but if Harry Maguire had nodded a header down for Ronaldo and we got that second goal, lads, we talking about how much of a genius Ten Hag was with his tactics. You know
but
what I
he
mean?
didn't, and it didn't even look like he was going to do that.
No, but it didn't look like we were going to score at all, even before.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the goal that we scored was a breakaway goal, very well took by the young lad, Garnacho. But other than that, we didn't look like scoring at all. You know what I mean? And that's been our issue. You know, like we have been creating chances in other games, but that game against Sociedad, we didn't even look like we were creating
I know, but
chances.
I can see the point where Scholes is coming across as saying, as in like, he's like, they're Manchester United. It's it's a kind of sorry sight when your plan B is put your centre back up top in the 60th minute.
Yeah, but look, and
Like
in a way, look, I
you
know
don't
what you're
have
saying, but in a
like you
way,
don't have something there to come to maybe bring on someone else or change a tactical personnel.
I know,
Like,
I understand that, but in a way, I'm sick of listening to these ex-Manchester United players saying it's not the United way, it's not the United way. You know, like the United way was created by Ferguson 35 years, 30 years after Busby left, you know. So
yeah,
it doesn't have to always be the same way. You can win more ways than one. And, you know, and I understand the philosophy around the club on the front foot, attacking football, you know, exciting football, all of that stuff. And Barcelona have their way of playing and things like that. But Real Madrid don't have a style of football. They've changed their style of football multiple occasions down through the years, and they're the most successful team in Europe. You know, Liverpool are the same. They don't really have a set way of playing down through the years. You know, like as the game evolves and as things progress, you know, the way of winning football games can change. And I'm sick of hearing, like, I love Paul Scholes and I love Gary Neville and I love Roy Keane and all of this kind of stuff. But sometimes it annoys me just listening to say, oh, it's not the United way. And, you know, that's not how United should be playing football, you know. And, well, listen, I will take the way Ten Hag is fucking playing football this year 1,000,000% over the football we were playing last year and the year before. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think these lads, sometimes I just think these lads, you know, that are pundits and they're just keeping themselves in a job by fucking being controversial. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But anyway, so you don't give us a chance against Barcelona then,
No.
basically.
Geez, I think you have as much chance of winning as Barcelona have as much chance of winning. I think it's going to, on paper, could be a very even tie, depending on who's fit to play.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Barcelona, some people are saying, I know Barcelona aren't the Barcelona of old, but Barcelona are by no means shite.
Oh, I know. I understand that.
Barcelona are doing well in
Absolutely.
their league. They're
They're
second to
top
Real
of this.
Madrid.
They're top.
Are they?
Yeah, they're top now.
Why?
They're
Did
top.
Madrid lose at the
Madrid
weekend?
Madrid have a game in hand. Barcelona are 2 points ahead. Let me put it up on the screen here. Barcelona are 2 points ahead with a game extra played.
No, same games played now. You're right. Madrid must have drawn at the weekend or something.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Madrid drew with Girona or something. Yeah, so look there, you know, they're still, like, for a team that aren't supposed to be doing great. I know they fell out of the Champions League there, but
yeah, they're done really poor in Europe, but they're doing quite well domestically. You know what I mean? And
that was very strange. What's the story with Piqué just
well, do you know what? I have a, you know, and I was discussing whether I was going to bring this up as my whale of the week, but I decided to go with someone else. We'll get to that at the end of the podcast. But Barcelona were nearly going to be my whale of the week because I have a feeling that they pushed Piqué out that door because I think they owe him something like 12 million in wages this year, and he has one more year left on his contract. And if he stays, they owe him 14 million or something crazy, like Barcelona of 3 years ago kind of money. And I have a feeling they just put too much pressure on him to leave. Just like who retires in the middle of a fucking season? Like
who retires and they're saying, I'll play me last match on Sunday, and they start that match, like, you know, start that match and get a rating of 7.9, play 85 minutes. And now he's just gone from somebody that's playing at the highest level there now. Well, one fairly high level, playing the La Liga, and now he's just retired. Like tonight, he's officially a retired player. It's not even as if he's just leaving the club to move somewhere else. He's resigned from football.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Maybe it's personal life or something.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. But
like,
I don't know. I think Barcelona's dirty hands are all over this. You know, seeing what they've done in the summer, trying to push the likes of, you know, De Jong out the door and, you know, letting players go on the cheap to free up money. Like, this is a club that in the last 15 years actually paid UNICEF to have the sponsor on the jersey. You know what I mean? That's the kind of philanthropy that they were doing. You know, one of the richest clubs in the world, and to go from that to where they are now, I think they deserve everything they get, and I hope we fucking hammer them in the Europa League.
Look, it makes
because,
for an interesting tie in the Europa League anyway,
yeah, it
because this
does.
round, like, there's not a whole lot going on there in that round anyway. Like,
No. Let's talk quickly then as well about
Campo.
the Champions League. I'll throw it up on the screen here. Obviously, look, there's been some decent ties. Obviously, the main one is the Scousers, and they're coming up against Real Madrid, RB Leipzig, and Man City is another one. Spurs and AC Milan.
PSG and Bayern.
PSG, Bayern. I mean, Dortmund and Chelsea, I think, is going to be a great game as well. I think all of them games are all, maybe obviously Bruges and Benfica would be a bit of a boring one, but I think everything outside of that, I think it'd be a good game.
Well, there's an interesting team in every tie, realistically, you know.
Yeah.
Like, look, Man City again, Leipzig ain't going to cause them many issues. Benfica are flying it in the Portuguese league. I would imagine that they'd get past Club Bruges. Liverpool, Real Madrid. I know straight off the bat, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, Real Madrid are going to do it. That'll be Liverpool out." There's always cracking games between them.
Yeah,
that's definitely tied around. Like the next game, AC Milan aren't what they used to be at all. I don't think that Italian league is really what it used to be anymore.
No,
I think that game's fairly flat to me. I think Tottenham play horrible football.
Yeah,
with some great players in their team, but just horrid football. I don't think that'd be a game I'd be excited to watch. Frankfurt, Napoli, that wouldn't really bother me. Either of them could kind of win that. Napoli are flying it in their league, but Frankfurt are a stickly side too. Dortmund, Chelsea, it really depends on what team Chelsea pull out. Like Chelsea are, whatever about Manchester United season kind of being hot and cold and having a good result and then a bad result and then 3 good results and a bad result. Chelsea is worse this season.
Yeah.
Like they have absolutely no rhythm to their season.
Well, it's weird how this narrative is after popping up, because up until before the weekend, Potter only lost 1 out of 7 games.
Yeah, and now I'm not putting any of the blame on him. I'm just saying like the Chelsea team, the Chelsea squad is just like a squad that's all over the shop. It's like as if a 15-year-old lad is on Championship Manager or Football Manager, you know, and he's like, I want to sign Sterling. And then he's like, oh, look, I can get Aubameyang there for 12 million in the middle of the season. Yeah. And like, suddenly he has all these names, but he has no tactics or where to put him. He's like, oh, shit, I've Koulibaly and I have Thiago Silva as centre-backs, and then I have Azpilicueta as well, and they're all on the wrong side of 30, and I'm not saying they're pure slow or anything, but you can't play them all together, even though most of them would probably start. And
answer me this, do you think Potter will be given the time to farm, will he be given the time to buy his own players? Because this is obviously not his squad.
The old Chelsea way wasn't. I don't think he'll be given time. He could be given time. I don't think he'll be buying his own players. I think this lad that's gone in there could be a crazy lunatic. Lunatic. Like that. He's like, it was definitely him that went out and was like, yeah. Oh, what do you mean? We can get Aubameyang. Of course, get Aubameyang then. Sure, he's deadly. And somebody be like, he's 33. So he's deadly. Yeah. You know, and he's like, for what? 20 million is all. Get him. Do you know, like, that's the kind of vibe that I'm getting off him almost.
Yeah, but sure, you could see when he first came in, he wanted Ronaldo straight away. You know what I mean? Yeah. As his marquee signing. And it just goes to show probably the short-termism of his thinking. You know what I mean?
And I know Chelsea have a history of, look, Roman Abramovich was very successful owner, as in he sacked managers, but managers he brought in, one of them things, like who was it? Was it Di Matteo? Was that his name?
Yeah.
Not Di Matteo.
Di Matteo, yeah, he won the Champions League.
Won the Champions League, sacked at the start of next season.
Sacked before Christmas.
And like, if I was to look at it, I'd say harsh, but it was the correct thing to do.
Yeah,
because
that was
Di Matteo. So what's he done since he wasn't a great manager? Yeah, he won the Champions League, which was an unbelievable feat. But like, I'd say it was more down to players than his actual tactics.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. It was just kind of a fairy tale thing.
Written in the stars, kind of.
Yeah, the same thing happened with with Leicester and what's his name? The man, Leicester's man,
Ranieri.
Ranieri, when they won the league. He was sacked the following season. You know what I mean? It was just one of them things that, I think regardless of who the
And he was
manager
sacked from about
was,
4 jobs since.
yeah, exactly. So I think they're kind of one-off kind of things. But yeah,
So,
I mean, look, go on.
no, I don't know where, like, I just don't know what Chelsea's story is really. I really think they need to clear out. I know they only signed half them players, but I just think they've
They
some
seem to have
fantastic players, but like a
yeah, but
lot
they
of
seem to have a
individual
lot of
players.
similars. Yeah, like a lot of their players seem like too similar to another player. Like that. I was watching that Broja lad up front for him the other day. He's useless.
Is he?
Oh my god, he is so bad. Like Aubameyang got the curly finger after 60 minutes. You know what I mean? And they brought on this lad. I swear to God.
I've seen that the centre half that Gabriel tweeted something nothing
Yeah,
personal, but
not yeah.
London is red.
London is red. Yeah, I
Wait, is
seen
that
it.
what Aubameyang said that when he went to Chelsea? Did he?
Could have been. I
Nothing.
think there was some kind of build up to the game on BT Sports where, the kind of montage comes up and they do
Yeah,
some kind of camera work before it. And part of it was Aubameyang saying London is blue. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
not
So,
personal or something,
but
but
anyway,
London
while
is
we're
blue.
on to Arsenal there, let's talk about him. Obviously, a good result for him against Chelsea. And the more the weeks go on, the more they're making me look like a mug. But they stay atop. And obviously, the big question is, can they last the pace? I think everyone is asking this
Well,
question.
look, you asked this question 6 weeks ago. They're still here. You can't doubt them for now. But as I said earlier, every team has to see how they come back fixed from that World Cup.
Yeah.
A big thing now for Arsenal is their centre half, Gabriel, did not make that Brazilian squad.
It's
So
huge.
he'll be fresh on his return. Gabriel Jesus did make it, but how much he will feature, I don't know, because that's just such a star-studded Brazilian lineup. Like of attackers, the
Yeah.
Brazilian attackers is just a sick lineup. But they it'll all be dependent now on who goes with them from England. Like Ben White, he's putting really staking a place for a claim for his
Yeah.
place in the England squad because England
Now,
are
he won't
getting
play much, I don't think, though.
no.
But he will go, I reckon.
But you see, they can bring 26 now, where previously they only ever brought 23. I think because it's mid-season, they're allowing squads go up to 26.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm aware, Kyle Walker is out. Who's the other right full? Reece James is out.
Reece, yeah. Now, there's talks of potentially him being back in time, but I don't know. Kieran Trippier, he'll surely go.
Oh,
Because
I'd say the way they fancy, like,
Southgate loves him.
yeah, and like Southgate didn't even bring Trent to the last tournament, so I can't see.
Do you think Trent will go?
I think Trent will go, but I can't see him starting Trent.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Trent isn't good enough at all. I just the way they view Trent, I don't think they will. Like he doesn't play him really at all, so I couldn't imagine playing it for
I
the
don't know.
World
The
Cup.
thing I think about Trent is that, look, everyone knows how good he is going forward. He's such a bad defender at the moment. He's so bad. Like,
Yeah, I do think that he's going through a patch where he's probably very low in confidence defending, and anything he does is getting scrutinised. I do think that was probably a penalty that he done the other day. You can't blatantly
definitely.
you can't blatantly push a lad like that. But I also don't agree when people say he's a terrible defender, as in you don't win a Champions League and a Premier League being right full as a terrible defender. I know he had great defenders beside him, but you can't fluke both them things as a terrible defender. And he was in the Champions League final the previous year, but they lost it. So he was playing at the highest standard of football.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm just saying he's not useless. Yeah, he's going through a bad patch, and who knows, maybe in the future a role further up the pitch might be more suited to him. I know some Liverpool fans, and I know they are getting frustrated with him, but it's almost like it's sometimes an attitude thing with him. Like he gave up so easy there yesterday and just blatantly pushed.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. The referee was looking at it too. He was very close to it.
Well, yeah, I was seeing it as well, and from two angles it looks like a penalty, and then from one angle, which is basically the angle the ref has, it doesn't look like a penalty at all.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And that's obviously the angle that the ref saw. But
but
obviously, then
I tell you,
VAR will say if it's not a clear and obvious error, they won't overturn it. You know?
yeah, I tell you there though. Looking at Arsenal at this current point in time are playing the nicest football in the Premier League. Man U would love to play. Any team would be loving to play the style of football they're playing at the minute. The
Yeah,
way they get the ball around that pitch.
yeah,
I know now it can all come to an abrupt end and they could get a few injuries and that, but they're even actually starting to get a few players back there.
yeah,
Like Zinchenko came back and had a great game at the weekend. Don't
yeah.
think he's going to World Cup. Don't think Ukraine are there. So like some lads like these could get a little rest, come
That's
back.
it. That's it. But I do think Arsenal have the same issue that United have in terms of being basically paper thin. You
Yeah,
know,
they are.
if they get a few injuries to key areas. Now, look, obviously Zinchenko's been injured already, but they have the likes of Kieran Tierney to pop in there and stuff like that. But like, if a Martinelli or a Saka gets injured, or a Gabriel gets injured, or Thomas Partey gets injured again, I think that's when they'll struggle. And especially, and I do want to give a quick mention while we're talking about it to Newcastle as well,
Yeah.
and the fact that they're up into third because, and I have a feeling Newcastle are going to make a serious go at that top four because what they don't have that everyone else has is European football. When that World Cup is over, they're going to have a game a week for the rest of the season, where other teams are probably going to have, two, maybe three in some weeks. I think they're going to make a serious go at it.
Yeah, I tell you who's playing a savage game this season, and I think if there was a midpoint team of the season named so far, he would definitely be in it. Is Martin Odegaard?
Yeah, he's
He
quality.
is an absolute baller.
Yeah, he's quality. He is. I do
He
like him.
is.
Well, I like him as a footballer, not as obviously I don't like Arsenal, but
He's a sicko.
but he
Like
makes them tick. You know what I mean? It's that
he
bit of
is. I thought it was a
creativity.
strange one when he was named as the captain, but who has been unbelievable for them this season. Definitely, probably top 3, 4 players. Xhaka,
Hmm.
he's been phenomenal for him.
Yeah, he has. He has. He's
And
scoring
just
goals as well. Like,
yeah, then you get on to Newcastle, who I don't know what the story will be with Newcastle. I don't know if like Eddie Howe will be the long-term successor for them.
do you not
Doing
think so?
unbelievable now. No, I'm not doubting him. I'm just saying
I have a feeling
he
he
might.
could be like
He
he
could.
could be the Alex Ferguson of Newcastle.
He could, and it'd be great to see because it'd be, I'd rather that than all
Yeah,
foreign
in and
managers
out.
coming in like them, turn around and going, "Oh, look, you brought it as far as you can, and we want Carlo Ancelotti now." You know that way, like,
yeah.
uh,
Get
it's
Jose in.
yeah, but it's great to see. It's absolutely great to see him doing it. The football they're playing is great. He's signed like subtle players, not big
Hmm.
players with egos, and
Yeah,
they all
he
seem
has
to
them
want.
all buying into the one thing as well.
He has them all buying in like that. Like when you look at it, like Trippier was what signing. Like when you just think if you're like, why if being United or someone. I know now Dallo is doing well now, but looking back and he'd be like, why didn't we just push that bit
Well,
harder and
yeah,
give
but
that
see,
20 million for him?
yeah, well, see, the thing
It's
about it
easy
was,
saying now, like
yeah, United were in for him,
yeah, they were, yeah.
but Newcastle just gave him a sick deal. You know what I mean? And United were like, we're not giving that money to it was just when the new board was coming in or something, was it? Or no, maybe it wasn't. It was actually the old board. But I think even at that, they kind of gawked at and said, no, we're not matching Newcastle's price there. No way. You know what I
And at
mean?
the time, you were kind of like, we have Dallo and
And
Wan-Bissaka,
yeah, after
you
spending
know.
50 million on Wan-Bissaka, we can't do it again. You know what I mean?
But like he's turned out to be some astute signing for them. Even they signed that lad Dan Burn for 5 million. I think they signed him from Brighton.
Yeah.
And like he's just been unbelievable. This is just a
Quality.
big 6 foot centre half, 6'7" centre half that wasn't getting game time with Brighton. That
Yeah.
they signed Matt Target left full from that wasn't getting a game at Villa. And
Yeah, it's
sure,
crazy.
probably one of their best signings of the lot was that Bruno. How do you say it? Ramirez? Is it?
Yeah, I'm going to try it.
But
It
he's in
gets
the
me as well.
he's in the Brazilian squad now.
Yeah, yeah. But you would be expecting the likes of Newcastle not to have as many players going to the World Cup as other squads, so potentially then they're going to be fresher in the new
I tell
year.
you, if Newcastle got into the Champions League this season, Newcastle will be in the Champions League for the next 10 seasons.
Yeah, it's hard to see them going away. They
If
are
they
going to.
get in there this year, they'll get players like they'll start getting lads from your Atleticos, and I'm not saying now Joe Felix, but like the likes of some of these names, like
Yeah.
I know they don't need the big names at the minute, and it's kind of good the way they're going for it.
Well, they're buying smart. That's the one thing I would say. Like, if you remember when, say, Roman Abramovich took over at Chelsea, all of a sudden, within the space of 18 months, there was 16 or 17 new signings. You know what I
Oh, you
mean?
and
Like,
Damien Duff, Arjen Robben,
yeah,
Shevchenko, Hernan
Mutu,
Crespo,
Crespo.
Adrian Mutu. They signed
Yeah,
your man Jeremy from
that's right.
Middlesbrough. They were just taking everybody's best
Everybody.
players there. They
Yeah,
signed one Saba Veron there from Manchester
that's
United for
right.
40 million.
Yeah. But when you look at it, I think Newcastle are doing it a bit smarter like that. Is they're buying smart, but I do agree with you. I think like no one expected them to be where they are. Now maybe they won't last the pace. Who knows? But people weren't expecting Newcastle. They were probably saying Newcastle in 2 or 3 years' time will be challenging for top four. Not
But
straight away.
I think they may have only lost one game. I think their points are all dropped on drawn games. I just checked the Premier League table. Yeah, Newcastle have lost one game only out of 14.
Yeah.
They've 28 goals scored and 11 conceded. United
Yeah,
have
that's
18 scored and 9. Newcastle are plus 17 goal difference.
yeah. Yeah, it's the third best in the league after City are first, then Arsenal, then
And it's by
Newcastle.
far the third best.
Yeah,
It's the third best by
absolutely.
8 odd goals.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just, yeah, shored up defence. It's like, if you look, I'm just actually looking on my phone here. I didn't even realise they were really doing so well. Like, they haven't lost. The only game they lost was to Liverpool competitively this season. The only other games they lost was in pre-season. And they even have some, I won't say bad draws in there, but they have a draw with Brighton, a draw at home to Palace, a draw at home to Bournemouth. If they got a couple of extra points there,
Yeah, they could be challenging for the title, let alone the top four.
at the minute anyway. Like, sure, if they turn 2 of them draws into wins, they'd be sitting on 31 points now, and that'd be only
But on
3
the flip
points off
side of
lead.
that, we should have fucking hammered them.
Yeah. Like, look,
You know what I
I'm only
mean?
saying here in hindsight or theory, it's very easy to say you could turn them in draws into wins or.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move it on. Finally, last but not least, we do it every week. This is the whale of the week, and we pick something random, the two of us, to give out about something that we're not happy with. I'll let you go first. What's your one this week?
I'll go. We always kind of go with VAR, and look, the route I'm going down is kind of still along the same lines as this. It's not directly VAR, but it's the competency of the referees,
Okay.
which kind of all ties in together. For example, the penalty Kevin De Bruyne got the other night.
Yeah.
Like, there was absolutely minor contact. I'm on about the foul in general. Like, would that have been a foul outside the box? The referee blew it. I don't even think they checked it on VAR, did they? Like, I think that
I
was
don't
just
think
straight
so.
penalty.
Yeah.
The referee couldn't get the whistle out quick enough.
Yeah.
Penalty. But then if you come back to, and you mightn't like this, I know, like, oh yeah, feisty players, deadly, how mad he is. But if you come then to Martinez, who literally goes for 2 bites at the cherry, elbowing Bailey into the chest, while
Yeah.
the referee is looking at him, and there was nothing blown. That's kind of my whale of the week, as in, I know it's 2 different refs, but there's no consistency there whatsoever. Like, if that was in the box, was that not going to be a penalty?
Yeah, I know what you
If
mean.
that was in the box, that's a stonewall penalty. If he turns around and elbows him twice like that. And the
Yeah,
ref appeared to me anyway to have a good view of it.
yeah, I agree with you, and I'll back you up on that one, because I think that, like, last season it was said, and this season as well, that we're going to be letting more go. We're going to be letting tackles go in. We want to see a contact game, and it just doesn't seem to be happening. Like, obviously, I watch all the United games. Martinez went in for a tackle on Sunday. It was a brilliant tackle. It was a really, really strong challenge now. But he went in, won the ball clearly. His studs weren't up. He towed the ball away nearly. And as he was sliding on the ground, his midsection hit the Aston Villa player's, I don't know, shin guard or something. He went down. And on the way down, your man, Martinez, got an elbow in the face because your man just fell on him. And the
Yeah.
ref gave a free against Martinez and gave him a yellow card for it. And you know yourself from playing, as a defender, and so do I, there's nothing better than a well-timed, strong tackle where you win the ball and you take the man with you. And it's not seen enough in the game anymore. And anytime it does happen, the refs, like you said, can't get the fucking whistle into their lips quick enough.
Yeah, you
Like,
see what they say now, even when it comes down to junior football and all, they're saying even if you kind of win one of these man ball and all tackles where you nearly flip your man and send the ball 40 yards up the pitch, do you kind of get that image of that? Refs now say you weren't in control, you came in too fast. Like, that's all kind of dying out of the game. I'm not saying a tackle where you go in to absolutely do someone or injure someone, but a tackle where you go in and you meet that ball and you go through the ball and the player, not with high studs or anything, just with a good, clean, hard tackle. It's nearly all gone out of the game. Even in junior football, Sunday league, the refs say you came in. They said no, you didn't injure him, but you weren't in control of yourself.
that's
You weren't in
bullshit.
control. Yeah,
How
but
how
that's
can you
the
be in control of a ball that's there to be won? And that's what annoys me. And someone said it in the chat when I was doing the watch along. I was probably I think it was a Liverpool fan. He wasn't in control of the ball. And I was saying, how can you be in control of a ball when you're going in for a 50-50 tackle? And I don't know. It
But that's the route. That's
frustrates
the
me
route from
so much.
grassroots now up to obviously elite professional football. That's the route. That's the route they're going down with. That you're not in control of the ball. I
Yeah.
see it week in, week out.
Yeah. Well, it annoys the shit out of me, so it does, because I don't know. There's nothing better than a good, strong, well-timed tackle, And where are we going to finish? Are we going to end up playing basketball? Because they're taking the tackle out of the game. They'll be taking heading out of the game next. You won't be able to raise your arms when you're jumping. All of this kind of shit. Where does it stop? That's the issue I have. But anyway, that's for another day. My whale of the week this week is Graham Souness. My God, that man annoys me, boy. He annoys me. So basically, I have a beef with him over his criticism of Martinez and Casemiro. So when Martinez obviously first signed, the height issue was the problem. He wasn't quick enough. He didn't read the game well enough. And basically, none of that has been an issue for him so far in the league. And he's been playing really, really well for United. He was asked then again, Souness, on TalkSport during the week, did he want to change his mind on it? And he said, no, I still don't think he's, quick enough. I still don't think he's not good enough on the ball. He's probably one of the best ball playing defenders in the league at the moment. So that annoyed me. And then he also backed up his statement when he called Casemiro an average player and called him a steady Eddie. I just think Casemiro has been so good since he came into that team. He's transformed the midfield for us. And Graham Souness, what a dope.
Yeah, look, these lads, Jason Cundy, Graham Souness, Gabby Bonlahore, Jamie O'Hara, like, TalkSport is the cesspit. Don't get me wrong, I listen to it, I enjoy it sometimes, but like, it's like these lads just go with the opposite to whatever the general public think for views and clickbait.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff they come out, but that lad that runs some of the shows, Jason Cundy, you should listen to him. Some of the statements he comes out with, like Gabby Bonlahore, some of the things he comes out with.
Yeah.
Gabby
Bonlahore just sounds like a fool. You know what I mean? He just, and I agree with what you're saying there. He just tends to go against.
Like, they have things there up on TikTok, and it's Gabby Bonlahore, and they give him like a picture of two players, yeah, and they're like, which player was better? And every single time you know which one he's going to pick, because he's
the
going to
worst
pick
one.
the opposite to the one that was better.
Yeah.
Like, and it's all a matter of opinion. So in his opinion, he can think that. But I'm like, you're a professional footballer. In your opinion, you do not think that Diego Forlan was better than Thierry Henry. You know, you know, like, I don't know why you're saying you think he was better than him, because you don't think that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ricey, it's been emotional. I appreciate you coming on again with us. And everyone who's been listening, guys, thanks for listening. If you haven't already done so, please hit a like on the video if you're watching live. And if you're listening back on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast, please do give us a 5-star rating and follow us as well. I'm Jack, and obviously Ricey is on with me there as well. I'll be back for the Manchester United and Aston Villa game on Thursday night on YouTube. If you want to tune in, we're doing a live watch along for it. But until then, I appreciate everyone who's listening. See you on the next one.